What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerd Castle. Today in the world of indie games, we're going to be checking out Endzone 2, the sequel to Endzone 1, which was kind of like a 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10 game. It was banished with a post-apocalyptic coat of paint thrown on it. Today we're going to look at a exclusive demo for the second game and see if they've done anything with that formula to maybe branch it off from its previous inspirations. The previous game did have raids and things of that nature that made it a little bit different, but ultimately it didn't end up being a game that I put a lot of time into. So here's hoping that this one is different. The link to the game is down below in the description. You can find it over there. I think they're going to be in the Steam Next Festival, so you'll be able to play something like this fairly soon. But let's go ahead and dive straight on into it and see what it's got waiting for us. So here we find ourselves on the fringes of civilization. Hopefully we got a good map. I've played around with the demo for... Actually, between the intro and here, I've taken a look at the demo for about 2 hours. And actually, it's very, very difficultly... Sir, I'm trying to do a monologue right now. The game is balanced like it's a demo. And so if you don't have certain things on the little zone and area you get, you're probably hosed. So on the lookout for mountains. Our first little area was not going to be amicable for what we're trying to do. This right here, though, might work. Taking a look at it. Does it have any fertile ground? It has a little bit of fertile ground. I think if we're careful, we can make this work. I think. We're going to have to be careful about it, though. Let's build the settlement here. So if we get the truck inside, there's like a little building. There we go. If I can get the truck over here, we can build a new settlement. So let's get our settlement done. We'll put the transfer point right there. We will place our town center gingerly. Probably right here, actually, and I'll cut the forest in half. So one half will be for foraging, and one half will be for collecting wood from. But I need to have them close enough to water collection that we don't take a penalty for our water collection. Alright, so we'll go right there. So there's the center of our settlement. From here on out, this game plays just like Banished or any of those other styles of games. At the top of the screen, you've got yourself... your amount of manpower. These are people that you can assign to buildings. You've got your settlers. That's how many people total you have. We've got our children. As you have housing and things of that nature, children will be born, and they will be bouncing little bundles of joy that will then grow up to be, you know, scrap gatherers and people that breathe in the fumes of the post-apocalypse before developing carcinomas. We've got water, we've got food, we've got wood, we've got all that kind of stuff, and we need to start seeing to our economy. But the most important thing you can possibly get a handle on in this game is going to be water. You need that more than anything else. So let's bang out a pier right there. And what does the pier cost me to build? It's just scrap and wood, huh? We'll do one for right now. The other thing that we're going to want to get in here is we're going to need a lumberjacking camp. I would suggest maybe putting the lumberjacking camp somewhere like right there. And then we'll designate the work area more for over here. I'm okay with wiping out these trees, but leave these trees alone. These trees over here are going to be for gathering food. Actually, we might want to gather from over here because this has a clay deposit underneath it. And we need to chop down the trees in order to get after that clay deposit. So I might add a little bit of inefficiency, but I've never had wood problems in this game before. He said, knowing full well what the internet was going to do with that information. We've got kind of bad food gathering over here. This food gathering would be much better. I think I'm just going to take my chances. I think I'm going to take my chances, and we'll cut this down. There we go. So cut all that down. We'll get a food gathering hut down here for the 1,000 food that it'll provide. Good stuff. Is that still inside? That's almost inside the range of the base. Almost. But we're going to have to move this later on. Construction is reasonably fast in this game, and they do actively...
We've got to do something.
Shut up. Nobody wants to talk to you. Everybody's here for what we're doing with the game right now. Quiet yourself. As I was saying, they do have incremental building, but unfortunately the game does not have procedural building, so your buildings are all going to look identical every single time that you mash them out. This is the most noticeable when you're playing around with domestic buildings, places where people actively live. This game diverges from the previous game in the series by having an interesting thing going for it as well, where every building has a tag, and if you build the housing for that tag near them, you actually get bonuses for that. And so you kind of want to centrally plan everything out much more carefully than like another game where you would just stamp things out without caring. Water production is up. We're going to max out the amount of people that work on water production because water production is by far the most important thing to get up. A single drought can actively wipe your entire society. Over here, we're going to max out the berry gatherers as well. We'll probably go for like 1 lumber chopper because I don't really care. I've never had problems with wood in this game. Like, I always have a huge surplus of wood, and I never have enough of the other stuff. And then the final thing we're going to want to do is we need to get a scrap gatherer going, because just about everything in this game requires you to be picking up random scrap from dilapidated buildings and places that are destroyed. And so we'll have them go over there and grab from that scrap pile. You can see a list of all of the bonuses your building is getting by opening up this little tooltip over here. You can connect them to a road that also attaches to the town center. That gives you a 10% buff to anything that's attached to that road. You can also, if you have a place where they can drop off their stuff, be it your central building or a dedicated depot, they get another 10%. However, there's a bunch of bonuses that are not listed down here, and it'll get another icon on this side that'll give you bonuses for housing and things like that that are in the area, which is, I think, is an interesting way to take it, because it sort of implies that the game wants you to build in districts almost, like it's Sim City. We'll go ahead and start gathering up some scrap. We're only getting 9 per minute, but we don't have anything that's consuming scrap right now, so it should be okay-ish. The other thing that we probably want to set up is I think that securing the food supply early is a good idea, but we're all out of tools, and we need tools in order to build a fishing hut. So let's start with tool production, I would say. We can go to the blacksmithing menu over here, and we can get a tool smithy reasonably easily. And we can also get our industrial bonus if we can park it kind of near that house over there. It's going to get a little bit crowded, but I also don't really want to bust up my forest to get this done. I guess I'll put it right there. It's going to be an ugly solution, but it's going to be a solution. We're going to have a strange parkway gap in front of that building. Another thing that I've noticed during my couple hours of playing the game is that there's a lot of jaggies. The graphics in this game are very, very rough. They really need to get some kind of anti-aliasing or some kind of thing to smooth out the polygons on all the foliage and everything else. I almost guarantee YouTube's compression hates jagged kind of leaves and jagged grass blades and things of that nature. It absolutely despises it, so I'm guessing that this video is going to turn into a muddy mess once YouTube servers get a hold of it. Let's put in 1 guy making tools for right now, because as you might have noticed, I don't have that much free manpower at the moment. I would also recommend that the outgrounds kind of be a little bit darker and the city be a little bit brighter, because everything tends to kind of bleed together. Add a little bit of a glow to this campfire that brightens up these buildings. Put one over here, 2 little lanterns and things hanging that sort of distinguish between the playable area and the lootable, sort of harvestable area. It's more pleasing on the eye, I guess. There's a bunch of things kind of jumping out at me right now with the presentation, and since it's a demo, there's no telling whether or not this is what the finalized version of the game is actively going to look like, but the graphics menu was very sparse from what I saw so far, and so it's just one of those things I wanted to bring up and mention. We can get another industrial house, possibly over here. These already have industrial supply to them, but down this way we do have that clay harvesting area. Although we probably want to do aggro stuff over on this side, maybe, because we do have the fertile soil right there. We're maxed out on water, which raises a good point that maybe we should build a cistern. That's going to use up a lot of our plastic, though. But it would be a good idea. So maybe just plop a cistern right there so that our water storage goes up by a couple of hundred. These guys should be producing like maniacs. Yeah, 115 per minute. So we're good on water. Food, our turnover, we're using up 13 food per minute. And over here, from this building, we're producing 35 per minute. But we'll want to keep an eye on it. We'll want to keep an eye on it because as our population grows, that number is going to go down. So babies are going to be born and then they turn into adults, but not until I get all the housing and whatnot built. I'm going to preempt this at the pass. We're going to put down an aggro building right here. Or a building with an aggro tag on it, I guess. And this is going to be a living space for people that are in this area. And the coloration is changed up. They've got themselves sorted out like the Starfleet or something. Like industrial guys are yellow, aggro guys are green, and then like social buildings are blue. And now that the depot is built, we should be able to stockpile quite a bit more water just in case anything goes wrong. Very shortly, we should have our 5th tool as well, which should give us an alternate supply of food from a fishy man hut over here, which also feels like a really great idea. I don't want to use up all my... There's a lack of resources. Are there no fish in there? How do I tell if there's fish in there? Oh, I'm missing wood. I don't actively have enough wood in order to get that done. Okay, well, that's an easy fix. I thought it was talking about, like, there's no fish in the lake, nerd. Let's go ahead and boost that on up so we're producing 20 wood now to counteract the fact that some of our wood is getting used up at the tool maker over on this side. And we should start to see this number grow a little bit. But before we get hit by a drought, one thing that I found with this demo is that they like to spam events at you. Like, it'll just be like event, 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 event. And the events are all bad. I haven't seen a good event yet this entire time. And so you need to start prepping and preparing really, really early and have huge food surpluses and big stockpile surpluses. Otherwise, bad things are going to happen. It is saying that we've got ourselves a little bit. Can I take this truck and move it around? I can. Go down to here. I think I can loot these buildings with the Pathfinder. Yeah, so there's some scrap right there. There's some wood right there, and there's some tools right there. Can it carry anything else? What is this? An interesting place, a ruin. You can explore it with an expedition. Send a vehicle here to make use of it. Expedition?
This country house is still in good shape. We ought to take a look around and see if we find anything useful here.
Oh, cool, dude. I can take like a little guy and I can scavenge. That's pretty rad. I like that. Can he like explore this entire area? Is that a thing that I can do? It looks like there's a busted vending machine over here. Go ahead and get that. I like that. That's a good addition. That's very immersive, and I find that to be satisfying. Is there any kind of like key that I can hold down to highlight what's lootable and what isn't? That's lootable. Looks like the trash can's investigatable too, and it looks like we're working our way up to a research point. Does that ladder let him go upstairs? Oh, it does. Nice, dude. Okay, I like that. That's a nice little addition to the core gameplay from the previous game. All right, go back over here, and we'll offload pretty much everything that we have back into the Pathfinder, and we'll end the expedition. That gave us a research point, which is nice. I've got the game paused up right now. But if we go to the research menu, I think we can get new things. So we can get a swamp farm. Processes a swamp area in order to obtain raw materials. Okay, fair enough. I also got an error pop up right there, which is not great. Let's move out of this area. And if there's anything else that I can loot around here, I'll take it. What's that right there? Certain locations, send a vehicle here to loot this ruin.
Where are we going?
All right, loot the ruin. Looks like we've got some more wood. We've got some more scrap. We've got some more goodies. Oh, dude. I didn't even try scavenging on my last run, so this might be why everything was going so poorly. There we go. Now we got a bunch of loot that we can bring back with us to town. Drop this stuff on off. Yup, transfer it. Oh, yeah, dude. Stockpile's looking good now. Okay, the next time I have problems, I'm just going to send a vehicle out. I've been, like, on my previous runs, I was like, damn, dude, this game is kind of hard. Like, you start out with, like, nothing. You got nothing going on. I thought that the van disappeared once you started your village. It was consumed like an MCV in something like Command and Conquer in order to make that building, but that must have slipped my eye. That sucks. I hate it when I find something that makes me look stupid 2 hours into playing a game, but we all do it, so, like, it is what it is. That's called gamer mode, brother. That's an agriculture building. Let's build another agriculture house over on this side so he gets his little 10% bonus. I don't want its footprint, though, to be on anything valuable because I'd like to set up some more buildings on the opposite side to keep exploiting this place. That looks good. We'll put the aggro building right there. That'll work out fine. And that gets us our full housing, too, so we should start having babies and being able to expand our production lines and whatnot and make new things. They should start having kids pretty soon, so that should be all right. Okay, so that's a reasonably long production chain in order to make gas masks. It kind of sucks that we got that first. I was hoping that we would get a drought first, because a drought we're actually really insulated against. We've got lots of food production, and we've got loads and loads and loads of water production as well, which would help us brave a drought no problem. Unfortunately, we got radioactive storm first. So the radioactive storm, it's going to raise the radiation level over here, and then we need radiation protection. I think that matches up with the pips over here. Otherwise, our people start to fall ill, or they start to get unhappy and their health readings start to go down. We also only have 5 minutes to adapt to this, which is going to be the bigger problem. So we're not producing any of the stuff we need to produce. We also don't have any population to produce the stuff that we want to produce. So we've got a series of unfortunate events that are transpiring to undermine us. I think we'll go aggro over here because I already built the aggro housing on this side. Let's build another aggro house over here. And then after we get the aggro house in, we are going to want to fool around with a plantation, I think is going to become necessary. So let's get a plantation, and we'll just stick the plantation sort of like right here. It's not the best placement for it, but that's going to get us fibers. We need fibers in order to make cloth, and then we need cloth and charcoal in order to make gas masks. And we need to get that all done in right about 5 minutes. Now, we're pretty much maxed out on our wood storage, so I can take some people off of working at the lumber mill, and that will hopefully put them back into the communal pool so that I can put all 3 of them on gathering fibers, which are usually a pretty good bottleneck for what you're able to produce. Our scrap is on its way up. There's also the argument to be made that we might be able to take the truck back out and find something useful. Let's go over here and see what we can offload from these locations. Maybe we'll bring back something that kind of saves us. There's nothing inside of there from what I can tell. Oh, there's 4 woods. All right, we'll grab a few more woods, although wood is not exactly what I'm looking for. We'll come back over to this side, and we can loot this place. Inside this ruin, we've got some cloth. That's good. That means we might actually be able to skip cloth production for now, just as like a hopeful move. We'll get a little bit of wood right there to bring back with us, too. Bring the truck over to this side, and, ooh, this place has something going on.
An old depot. We should take a look around inside. Maybe we'll find something useful we can take with us.
Hi, Mark. Voice acting's a little bit rough. Can I open this up right here by interacting with this panel?
This control unit needs power in order to work.
Okay, we got a Jenny over here.
This generator is still in good shape, but we won't be able to use it without fuel.
All right.
Jerry cans with gasoline in them are lying here. Can we use them?
I believe that we can, yeah.
Supplying electricity. I'm in.
Nice. Got ourselves another knowledge point. What is that?
This old safe can't be cracked without substantial effort.
Okay. It looks like we got a bunch of ore and some other goodies from right there, though. With that 25 cloth, I think we're in pretty good shape. We'll come back for the safe later. Let's go ahead and offload all this stuff inside the van. That 25 cloth is going to be huge. So we'll come back over here. We'll finish that off once we've actually got some excess tools. I don't know if I need to load them inside the truck or whatever. I've got a feeling that I probably do.
New instructions?
But this cloth needs to come back over here. So let's get it back to town real fast. And we'll drop. I like those little expeditions. Those expeditions are a really good addition. I'm hoping that there's going to be some kind of like real-time strategy combat that happens too. Like sometimes when you go in and loot a depot, there will be people there, and the amount of people you have assigned to the Pathfinder plus the amount of tools or whatever else you have gives you like a firearms bonus, and they get into like a little gunfight or something. That'd be kind of fun. I can see that being enjoyable. Let's swap everything into storage. And we are now very much top-capped out. All right, so with the plantation, I've already got 2 people working there, but I'm an idiot. I forgot to put in crop rows. You have to have crop rows. You have to have 100 of them. Otherwise, it doesn't work. There we go. So we've got our 100 crop rows. This guy, is he getting, like, multiple bonuses from the housings? No, you can only collect the bonus from housing being nearby one time. Okay. another piece of information that it's good to store away for later inside my noodle brain. We got plenty of wood, and we got plenty of other stuff going on. We've been able to supplement that no problem just through scavenging. So let's get our charcoal burner up and running. People don't care. Oh, they do care, actually. Okay, so they don't want to be near charcoal that is actively burning. That's understandable. It's a little bit smelly. It's a little bit disruptive. I could see that kind of being... Oh, it gets an industrial bonus from being over here, though. Those people get more unhappy, but 10% production bonus, though. Listen, human happiness... It's so much more hard to quantify than just understanding that we get 10% more coal, you know? I'm going to use some of my tools to build out roads because all these buildings get bonuses by being adjacent to a road that runs to the central area. I'm not going to get too wild and crazy with it because we don't have a lot of tools left, and every road costs some tools. But it looks like we've got everybody connected to the grid, and we still have a tool surplus. So that'll work out okay. I've got one worker remaining out of my total batch, I think. We'll put them on charcoal burning. And then from there, we've got another worker coming on in. The second worker coming on in is going to need to work at the clothier. The clothier can be over here. The clothier gets a bonus from having a blue residential building near it. But it'll have to do for right now. I can't really do a whole lot with it. Let's give him a 10% production bonus, too. There we go. It's kind of snaking all over the place right now. Wood's going down, but not at a rate that concerns me. I should probably also build like a food depot so that we can stockpile more food for when the inevitable drought happens. How hard is it for me to build that? I need 5 plastics. I think we have all of that stuff just in spades. So we'll put it down right there. Oh, I built a cistern. That's not what I want. Cancel that. I wanted a food depot. There we go, like a granary. Perfect. All right, so that should give us a little bit more boost, too, because we've got a lot of food coming in right now, and we don't actually particularly want it to go to waste. All right, radiation levels are now going up. Considering we got a lot of things done, in my opinion. Let's go ahead and put, like... I guess we'll just put one guy in on making gas masks. I don't think we're going to have enough charcoal anyways to really effectively get the job done. Well, maybe not at the tool maker. Where's the charcoal burner at? Add another one to the charcoal burner. Now we're getting 5, and we'll see if we end up with a surplus. We are going to be losing cloth, though, this entire time. And our logs are going down pretty precipitously. So let's send this guy out on another run to see what he can find and bring back home before this gets too chaotic.
I'm at the wheel.
Let's loot the ruin. There's 23 wood, some tools, and some scrap. I'll take that. There's a big ruin over here with 52 wood and some plastics inside of it. Sounds good to me as well. A little shopping trip on this side. Sure, let's start an expedition. Why not? Maybe I'll find something awesome over here.
These factory grounds are less damaged than the rest of the wastelands. Let's see what we can find here.
All right, I'm on it, man.
I'll pack that.
40 wood is huge. That's going to help out because I can't really afford to put people back on harvesting lumber right now. We just don't have the manpower. There is a safe right there. Is it all locked up? That one's not locked up. Hey, nice, dude. Okay, new knowledge point. Loot the car, loot the car. Oh, there's a ventilation shaft right there, too. Hold on, go inside the ventilation shaft. I like this mechanic. This is a good mechanic. I don't know if I've ever seen a city builder do this before, but I like it. Is there anything else up? Can I get into, like, are there any other vents around that I can get into? I don't really see anything out back. Oh, we're 100% progress, so it doesn't matter. All right, end the expedition. Let's load all that stuff onto there. The tools are going to be huge, dude. That's going to be really, really nice. I like how we got like this little battle wagon, man. I really like this mechanic. The rest of it is sort of like, you know, it's banished with a fresh coat of paint. Always has been. But that addition right there, I like. That's a good addition. I'm not really trying to do an expedition right now. I was hoping I could just find something useful around.
Here we go. The first drops have already
Oh, good, it's raining. Nice. I don't know if that's going to cause flooding or anything, but let's keep following the road until the wood falls off. Looks like we've got enough radiation protection. Maybe not for everybody, but for somebody. Give me my truck. Let's loot the ruins. We got another 75 wood right there. A little bit more scrap. All right, let's bring it on back to base. I would say keep the building how it is, but build on this idea right here. I was not hooked into your game. I was not excited about the gameplay until I saw that mechanic where the little guy walks around the building, because that right there is hugely expandable, because you can have little guys with different RPG skills like lockpicking. They can have different body sizes to fit through different gaps and things of that nature. They can have weapons and equipment now for things that can happen inside of there. I don't know how close this game is to completion, but that mechanic right there is your hook. I don't know if you know that that's your hook, but that's your hook. That's the thing that makes your game different than every other game out there that's doing the exact same banish thing. And you need to make that have a whole bunch of depth and a whole bunch of things that you can do with it. That's your hook. 1,000,000 billion games have already done banished, but with like a descriptor after it. Nobody else has done that thing that you're doing right there with the looting the buildings, and each building is like a little puzzle that you've got to work your way through. That right there is the part that's infinitely expandable that will make this a way more interesting game. Just my opinion as a guy that looks at games all day, every day. For a living, it's what I do. I stare at games and I think to myself, oh, that's derivative. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, I like that. Nope, don't like that. That's my job. And that right there was the first thing about your game that jumped out at me as like, okay, I like that. All right, I can see what they're going for with that little angle. It's not fully fleshed out inside of this demo, but I would, if it was me, I would focus on making that right there a full-on choose-your-own-adventure with like skills, like strength and dexterity and lock-picking and climbing and stuff like that. That right there is the hook. That's what I would do with it. The banish part, I could take or leave. Like, I've played so many banish games at this point that they all kind of bleed together. But that right there is interesting and a little bit innovative if it just has more depth and more stuff to it. And it's also a really good way for you to introduce, like, storyline hooks to the actual players of the games themselves. Like, that's a great way to introduce antagonists and protagonists and other speaking role characters and things like that. Just that's fertile ground right there. This over here, you can grow crops. That right there with the expeditions, that's the interesting part, and I'm hoping that that develops and becomes more interesting as we get further on into the game. So that's good. I was kind of compiling my thoughts in my head while giving you guys my impressions of what I've seen so far, and I was going to close on, I haven't seen anything here that's hooked me yet, but now I have, and I'm interested to see what they do with it. It's not a full recommend from me yet, but it is interesting, and I want to see what they do with it. Let's get 2 more houses over here with some of the extra stuff that we have going on. Connect them with roads so that we can get associated industries attached to them too. Oh, look at that. The roads kind of, well, they don't clump, but they attach on the in-between just in case you're doing like little districts. That's kind of nice. We needed more breathing room. We don't have enough people right now, and so I need people to start having babies and getting friendly and like exchanging friction and whatnot. So we do have 6 gas masks now. I don't know how many it's going to cost us for each radiation storm, but it looks like it lowered our radiation levels down pretty good. We're going to need to look after this health situation before too long, and I don't actually precisely know how to do that. So it looks like you've got thresholds over here. We've got huts, an expanded simple dwelling that increases the settler capacity of the zone, and we can build it with 10 right there. It's blocked in the demos, so I can't actively get it right now. I think we need more society buildings. What kind of society buildings do I have around? I've got a graveyard. Okay, I've also got a market. This building can be researched as soon as the settlement achieves a settlement branch society value of 10. Well, it looks like the graveyard is pretty much all that we have. I don't know that people have been dying nonstop while we've been around here. But knowing that it's my colony, there's a pretty strong chance of that taking place in the near future. So we might as well future-proof for it, right? We might as well. I mean, what's the worst that could happen here? And so now we got that new research for society right there, and that'll give us access to the market. Oh, but we've got to pay a buy-in, so we've got to have bricks. That means one of our food supply buildings is about to get got. That's a little unfortunate. I could disassemble this, move it over to here, and have them work this area, and then just put that in there. I suppose that was probably the elegant solution that I completely and totally ignored. All right, let's do the elegant solution then, now that I've had time to think about it. We'll put these guys over here, and then we'll just have them walkaroonies on over into this area. I'm sure we'll see a little bit of a food fall off, but hopefully the plot is around the same size for the brickworks. We need to have an economy value of 15, though. How's my economy doing? I'm at 14. Wouldn't you know it? If it weren't for bad luck, I'd have no luck at all. What other economy buildings do I not have yet? I suppose the easy solution there is just to build an industrial housing, because that'll give me the points I need to get up to the next layer of the research tree. So I'll just stamp that out on that side, because like they're gonna have to work over here in order to tear down this building pretty soon anyways. Like I think they're just gathering scrap from the roundabout area. Do I only get the bonus on the first one I build? Oh, it's not done yet. Okay. There we go. Now we're making tangible progress. So I do want that. And then we need bricks. Or no, we just need flat clay in order to get there. That's what I was looking for. All right. Clay is over here. And clay is a pretty big building. It's going to cost us a lot of tools, and it's going to cost us a lot of wood. Luckily, we've got 8 surplus people here. So I can reassign to lumberjacking. I can reassign to food gathering, which leaves us with 2 more people to play around with. But that should start to get our wood numbers up for a little bit. And I think it's time we take the Jeep for a drive. So yeah, not too much outside the standard or ordinary here when it comes to other Banished-style games. The graphics are definitely going to need to be seen to, and they're definitely going to need to have some of the jaggedness taken out of them, I think is one of my big observations. However, the game did have a hook, and the hook does have me excited. I like those little choose-your-own-adventure puzzle things that you can solve when you're in and about the game world. I like that a lot. And so develop this on out. This is good. Make it so that you've got a building that produces these little heroes with various stats and whatnot, and then you've got a vehicle with a couple of different seats, and then for the expedition, they're just in a little group right here, and they've got like an attack rating, a defense rating based on equipment that you give them, which you can also get from scavenging, and then they've got like a lock picking, and they've got like an observation stat that allows them to see the glowies that are around better than on other areas. Like, that's a really good area to develop out, in my opinion, to make the game a little bit more interesting than a lot of the other stuff that's on the market right now. That's the one thing that's jumped out at me. I like that. My name is Splattercat. I sift through the pile to find what's worthwhile in the world of indie games every single day so you don't have to. Went into Endzone 2 expecting more of the same, but I like this little system that they've got here, so I'm hoping that with time this becomes more of a thing that gains a greater presence in the series, because this is a good idea if it's just expanded out a little bit further. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Thanks for hanging out with me, and that's about all I got for you. Bye, folks.